you guys, and happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another awesome video. First off, I want to just thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank you for watching my videos and rocking with your girl, and if you haven't yet subscribed, help your girl out. Okay, it doesn't cost anything. Just subscribe, like, share, comment, and if not, that's fine too. Thank you for watching. Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, I still gotta ask you though. So anyway, you guys, I'm drinking me some hot coffee. It's kind of late. Well, it's not really late. I don't know what time it is. It's probably about 6 o'clock. Okay, so I'm drinking me a little bit of coffee. I'm praying that I don't have insomnia tonight, because I'm really not a coffee drinker. Well, I just started really drinking coffee. But anyway, my story time today is based on something that my mother has a lot of sayings, you guys. My mother is one of my inspirations. We clash though. I'm the firstborn. Firstborns have it worse. We have it hard. Because, and I'm just talking about from my experience, and for, when you're the firstborn, especially when your mom has you young. My mother had me at 17. And so all through her 20s and 30s and all that, I was alive. I was the child that seen my mother struggle, that seen everything. I seen more than my other two sisters seen. They seen stuff. They've been through things, but I've been through, when you in your 20s is the hardest, probably like your hardest time in your life, your 20s and your 30s. Because when you're in your 20s and your 30s, especially your 20s, you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do and where you're going, and you're just getting out of the house, and you're trying to find, you don't know anything. You don't know anything until you have experience up under your belt. So when you have a child at 17, you don't know anything. All you know is how to clean up the house, how to do your chores. You don't know how to pay. You don't know. Okay. So I was there through all those struggles. So I said this to say that, to say this, to say that. I come from a family of strong women. Strong women. And I'm a conversationalist. Okay, I listen. I may not act on what I'm listening on at first, but I listen. And my mother, she's a lecturer. I mean, that's all. Don't get SJ started. Okay, if you call SJ, that's her initials. Be ready to hear. Don't call her if you don't want to hear what she got to say. Okay, so back to what I was saying. My mother has a lot of sayings, and one of them is, everything is not always what they seem to be. Okay, with that being said, what that means is we have to be careful on comparing ourselves to other people's lives, to other people's situation, and to what other people are doing in their life. You might see a friend that you be looking at them like, God, I don't understand why this person, why that person, she got a husband, and she this and she that, and she got a husband, and here I am. I'm a good woman, and I'm good, and I keep my house clean, I do this, I work, and I don't understand why I don't have. We can't look at the other person, because like my mother always says, everything ain't what they seem to be. Okay? Now, here's one example, and I'm going to give, and I said this on a video way back, one of my car chronicles. I remember I was about 15 years old. And we had a family reunion because I'm from the Bay Area. But now I live in Northern California. But at the time I was in the Bay Area, and we have a family reunion every so many years. And when I came down here, I said, I want to ride with this aunt and uncle. My family is very private, so I'm not going to say their names. Because this particular uncle and aunt was the cool one, okay? So I wanted to ride with them, okay? But from the time we left their house, and from the time we left their house to the time we pulled up in that parking lot at the family reunion, they fought. It was so bad that me and the aunt, we was in the back seat with the kids. And the uncle was in the front seat with one of the sons. They fought and fought and fought. And mind you, I was about 15. I was young and, didn't know a lot about relationships and stuff like that. And when we got to the place, to the family reunion, around all the family, when they got out the car, they were hugged up, holding hands. She was walking around and he was, and it confused me. And so after the whole event was over, we was on our way home, I said, Mommy, I still, I'm the one calling Mommy. I said, Mommy, such and such, I don't understand, because I thought they would break up the way they was fighting and arguing. And then but when they got around all these people, you would think that they have been married all these years and they were just in love, inseparable. From that moment on, my mother said, everything is not always what they seem to be. And she left it at that. She said, you cannot look at people and be envious of people because you don't know. And I was still kind of young, and so she left it at that. But as I got older and listening to my grandmother, listening to my great-grandmother, mother, listening to my mother, and going through life and experiences, I realized we cannot look at people. Somebody got them a new car. You don't know how they got that car. Did somebody die and leave it to them? Did they finagle some paperwork and get it? You don't know how they got it. Somebody in a nice, beautiful home. Are they renting it? And if they are renting it, how did they get in it? Did they have to finagle some check stubs? Did they have to finagle some paperwork? Did they have to go finagle some bank statements? How did they get in it? And do they own it? Did they get in that house authentically? Did they work hard? Is their credit good? Did they use their credit and their integrity to get in that place? We can't look at other people and compare our lives to their lives, because everything is not what they seem to be. It's not. And sometimes, because as human beings, we want to elevate our life. We want to be happy. We want things in life. And when we see other people and we know we're working hard and we be out there grinding and We're doing the right thing. We're not lying. We're not cheating. We're not stealing. We really getting up working hard, working overtime, grinding, paying our bills, paying our credit off. We are really doing it, and then we see somebody else just come up with it. We see people that lie and cheat and steal, and we be like, man, God, that's just not fair. Our time is coming. Because when you work hard and you do things authentically and your heart is right, we may be going through a lot. We may have a lot of struggles. But in the end, we sleep well at night. We ain't got to worry about getting no mail. We ain't got to worry about going to jail. We ain't got to worry about nobody bamming, kicking down our door. We ain't got to worry about getting no letter in the mail saying, in the end. And then it builds character. It builds your self-esteem. It makes you feel good because you really accomplished something authentically. The struggle is not easy. It's not. And a lot of times we keep questioning God, like, when is my time going to come? Why can't I get a breakthrough? It's not your time. But in the meantime, see, this is the important thing right here. It's what you're doing in the meantime. What are you doing in the meantime? Like my mother told me, she said, Tracy, you know, when people die, and I'm just saying this because I don't remember the conversation, but I remember this. She said, when people die, they have a beginning date, a dash, and an end date. They have a sunrise and a sunset. That's what it says on your obituary. Sunrise, January, whatever, 19, whatever. Sunset, 2000, whatever. That dash in between is what really matters. People are going to remember you based on that dash. What did you do in between your sunrise and your sunset? What did you do? How did you live? How did you treat people? How did you deal with adversity? How did you deal with it? How did you deal with letdown? How did you deal with let-ups? Sometimes people, when things happen for them good, watch how people act when things happen for them good. Did they change? Is their nose stuck up in the air? Did they forget where they came from? Did they forget their struggle? Did they forget who they called and cried on? Did they forget who was there for them? Who listened to them? Who loved them? Who showed compassion to them? Did they forget? People change when they get a little bit of a push. But we can't look at that because a person got to push up. How did they get that push? Let me tell you, the devil, he'll bless you too. Everything that comes to you that's good is not always from God. Sometimes we be doing bad. We lie, cheat, and steal. And then when, let's say we finagled some paperwork and we lied and we cheated to get what we have. And when you sitting there with your fingers crossed and praying, Lord, please let this work. And then it works. And then you say, thank you, Jesus. That ain't from Jesus. God don't bless no mess. Satan, he let that go through for you. You notice when people have issues in their life, then they go right to God. And then soon as they make it through that storm, they stop praying. People use God. They come to God when they're down and out. They hit rock bottom and they go to God. They start praying and fasting and listening to their church music and hanging around their church friends and praising their way through their storm. And then soon as everything works out, excuse me. As soon as everything work out, they start sending they friends that from church, they start going to voicemail. They start missing church. They start praying. Their prayers start decreasing. So you didn't use God to get you through whatever you was going through. As human beings, and I'm saying this because I'm just talking from experience and things that I've been through. I'm not no expert, but I'm coming to you as a middle-aged woman that has been through a lot in her life emotionally. And I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot. Okay? And I'm a very emotional person. My emotions started as a child. I'm a big crybaby. I'm very emotional. I have a beautiful heart. And I'm saying this not to toot my horn, but I do. I do. And I was traumatized as a child. And I was bullied throughout school. I was bullied through family. My mother was young when she had me. She was 17. When my mother was 17 when she had me, she married my dad. And my dad, they were young. To the day my dad died, he loved my mother. He was very guilty. He had pictures of my mother, pictures that I never, he held on to pictures that, he had this photo album full of his life. Important things in his life. And so I said this to say this. I was depressed at a young age when they didn't even know what depression was. They just be like, oh, she ADHD. Well, she need to be in the portable. She need to be in special ed. She got issues. No, bitch. Okay. A bitch been through some shit, okay? I need somebody to talk to. Okay? I grew up in the 60s where they didn't know a lot about depression back then. I was depressed and didn't know it. They didn't know. I would lay in my bed and cry. Sad music would come on and I would start crying out of the blue. I would eat my emotions away. My eating habits, bad eating habits started as a child. And I just took it on. You know, it's part of me. So one thing I want to encourage you guys, we have to be careful who we trust and who we open up to and who we talk to about personal, intimate things about ourselves. Because I would never forget, here comes the story time. I worked for this company called Sprint. You remember, well, back in the day, I don't know how old you guys are that's watching, but back in the day, it was Sprint, MCI, and AT&T. I worked for Sprint. And I was in my early 30s, and my daughter was young. She was like in, when I started at Sprint, she was in elementary school. She was like in the 4th or 5th grade, and you know, and I worked for Sprint, and I met this young lady, and she was a Christian, and she liked me. And see, I have this, I'm a goofy girl. That's one thing about both sides of my family. We are funny. Some family inherit. Our family, I don't care who you meet in my family, we're funny, okay? Even though my father he has a sense of humor, but he has a weird sense of humor. I have a weird sense of humor too. But I also have, anyway, long story short, you know, I got to explain it so you can understand. What drew her to me was my funniness. And I don't try to be funny. But I would have her laughing, and she would laugh so hard that she'd be crying, and she can't even look at me. We became friends. And I trusted her. I liked her because she was a Christian. And she would take me to church. We would talk, and excuse me. She would tell me things about herself, and I would tell her things. And whenever I had issues, I would always call her. And having the emotional issues that I had, it's just like, oh my God, you know, I met this Christian girl, and she had kids and I had kids, and I thought we were close, and I would tell her things, and all the time. See, God will send you signs and red flags. It's up to us to pay attention to those red flags. There's so many different occasions where I felt that she wasn't cool. She would laugh at me when things would happen to me. Like, we went to this place to do a survey, and that's when they was paying you for surveys. It had rained that day, but it wasn't raining at the time when we went. But it had rained that day, and it was muddy and grassy and wet outside. And when I was going in front of all these people, an office full of people, to do a survey. It was, I can't explain what it was, but it was an office full of people, and we had to be there. And I got out my car, I slipped and fell, and I was so hurt because I had to go sit in front of all these people. I had mud. When I tell you I slipped and fell, I literally rolled. And she laughed at me. Instead of, it'd be different if we weren't going somewhere to be around people, but the situation, she laughed. There are times at work when people would say things about me or do little things about me, she would laugh. And I remember one time I was going through something personally in a relationship, and I was just so down, and it just hit me. You know how you break up with somebody and then you be like, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm no good. You know, you just go through that. I know I'm not ugly. I know I'm not. But when you go through a breakup, you do be feeling like, what's wrong with me? You know, what's happening? You know, you just feel that way. She had me on the speakerphone, and her kids heard me, and I was crying. I was saying all this stuff, like, you know, like I just didn't want to be here no more. I keep going through all this hurt and pain, and I was just talking about a lot of things personally. Her kids were laughing in the background. She had me on the speakerphone, and I heard her go, shh, be quiet. And I was like, you got me on the speaker. It was, so I said this to say this. I told myself I would never, ever trust anyone with my heart like that again, with personal information about myself. I would never open up to another person again. I'm going to strictly talk to my mother, strictly talk to close family members, strictly just pray. I'm just not going to do it. Okay? Because people will fool you. Just because a person is a Christian and they go to church, don't make them a believer of God. It don't make them have compassion. It don't make them. Okay? Just because you're sitting in your garage in a chair, does that make you a car because you're in the garage? Because you're sitting in the garage, does that make you a car? Just a little analogy for you. In other words, just because you go to church, that don't make you no Christian. I said I would never do that again. I did do it again. Because there's one person I consider, one person in my family. You have a cousin or a niece or auntie or whoever that you become really close with. And both you guys are sharing your problems together. Both you guys are talking to each other. Both you guys are being there for each other. Both you guys are, at least you think you are. And then when you are more there for that person and listening and talking and being there and understanding and doing all those things. And then as soon as that person feels like they're in a good space in their life, they kick you to the curb and tell you that you need to get your life in order. Really? I need to get my life in order? When I own my home, I have a job, I'm just going through some personal shit. What are you going through? What are you doing? How did you get your place you're living in? How long have you been on your job? How is your credit? Who needs to get what life in order? People will turn on you at a drop of a hat. Drop of a hat. People will turn on you. And as a human being, we want to talk to people. We want to express ourselves. We want that cousin. We want that sister. We want that girlfriend. We want that. But what we really need to do, talk to ourselves. Talk to God. Journal our problems. Write them down. See a therapist. See someone that you don't know. Because if you talk to a therapist, a counselor, or somebody you don't know, even if they ain't paying attention. I remember I went to see a therapist. They bitch wasn't even paying attention to me. But I felt better because I got all my shit out. Because half the time we already know the answer. And whatever they tell you, they're just giving you confirmation from what you already know. And what maybe your mom or your dad or whoever already told you. You feel better afterwards because it's a job to them. But at least you can get everything out. It ain't going nowhere. And you're not in a circle. So if they do go home and talk about your ass, you ain't going to never know it. Because you're not in a circle. And they can be more, they won't be so biased. They can be more neutral. They can give you some real feedback. Because they don't know you. They don't love you. They can't be biased towards you because they don't give a fuck about you. They don't know you. You just there for that 50 minutes. And they can keep it real with you and give it to you raw and uncut. Coffee. Okay? We have to be careful who we got praying over us. I don't want everybody to pray over me because I don't know who you be praying to. I don't know who you praying to. I don't know what you doing when I'm not around. I don't know if you got some. I don't want. We have to be careful of who we got praying for over us. Because everybody that's praying over you could be praying against your ass. Everybody that gives you a compliment, you don't know if that compliment is sincere. They can be on the phone with you. You can be telling them what things are going good in your life. They be like, oh, congratulations. You don't know when they're on the phone going, oh, congratulations. You don't know if they're doing that to you while you're on the phone. People sometimes, they be happy when you don't have things. There's a lot of envy and jealousy in this world. And just because you're dealing with a family member, we have to remember they're human too. We have to be careful who we got praying over us. We got to be careful who we talk to. We have to be careful from looking at people and comparing their lives to ours, because we don't know. Everything is not always what they seem to be. And I just pray and I thank God that I finally woke up, that I'm starting to look at red flags. I'm starting to pay attention to my gut feelings. I'm starting to pay attention to when the angels or God speaks to me. We have to pay attention to our gut feelings. Because you can sit there and talk to somebody and they can act like they care, but eventually they're going to get tired of you. They stop calling you. They start, and everybody that listens to your issues, they don't always have your best interest at heart. Sometimes people want to listen to your issues so they can feel better about themselves. So they can listen to your problems and feel better about their situation. Now they feel good because they listen to your situation. They listen to your problems, and now their problems don't seem as bad as they thought it did. Because now they listen to you. They listening to you crying. They listening to you hurting. They listening to you go through the things that you're going through. And now they feel a little bit better. Because now their issues and the things that they felt that they were going through that was so bad don't seem so bad now. Because they listen to your stuff. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody don't love you. Everybody don't care about what you're going through. People be on that fuck shit. And they be on that, they have a whole nother hidden agenda. A lot of times people be going through their own shit. They going through their own stuff. And they hate to see you happy. They hate to see you prosper. They hate to see you live your life. They come to your house and look around. As soon as they leave your house, they go into the store to buy the same shit you got in your house. As soon as they get their little halfway shit together, they have the nerve to tell you to sober up and get your life in order. Who in the hell do they think they are? When the only thing you're really going through is personal stuff. You know, your life is in order. You've been on your job damn near 25 years. You own your home. You got a savings account. Your credit is good. You got a nice car. You got your health. Your kids are fine. Everything is fine as far as that. The only thing that you're going through right now is personal things, you know. Maybe, you know, you're going through some personal things. And you hit rock bottom personally. And now you need that person to be there for you and encourage you and listen to you and pray for you and hold your hand and listen to you cry. But because they're happy now, they don't want to listen to you. And just because you're crying, maybe you're an emotional person. Maybe you was holding some things in. As soon as that person answered the phone and you heard their voice, you just started crying because you're just so full of emotion. And they let you down. They hang up the phone in your face like you ain't shit. Like you don't mean nothing. People will let you down. People will use you for your compassion, your emotion, your ear, your wisdom, your advice, your opinions. People will use you to listen to your issues so they can feel better about their situation. As people, we have to, again, remember. Sometimes your blessing is coming, but God is working on you. Maybe he feel like you're not ready. Maybe he feel like you ain't gonna be able to. He want to make sure you be able to handle your blessing. Be ready for your blessing. When you praying on something and you praying and you praying and you praying, but are you getting yourself ready? Are you getting yourself ready for that blessing? Sometimes God don't think we ready. So the devil will go ahead and bless you. The devil will step in and do something for you. So you continue. The devil will bless you. So you'll be able to continue to be deceitful, to be ornery, to be jealous, to be judgmental, to have your nose stuck in the air. He wants to keep you in bondage. He want to keep you where you at. So the devil might come in and bless you and let that little fake check stub go through. Or that little man you met, you know, he might have a big bang, bang, bang. He might have a big one. Big bang, bang. So he might bless you with that. So you think yeah. But your real blessing that's coming from God, he don't think you're ready yet. Don't think you're ready. We have to prepare ourselves for the blessing. You want to be blessed with a new job. Have you went to school? Have you learned anything about this new career that you're trying to do? Have you researched? Have you brushed up on your interview skills? Have you, we have to prepare ourselves for our blessing. Excuse me. When you praying, be ready for your blessing. We have to prepare ourselves for the blessing. Why would God bless you with a good husband when you ain't got yourself together? When there's things that you need to do. Because he wants to bless that man too. So you got to prepare yourself for that husband. Have you dealt with any of your baggage? Have you tried to fix your credit? Have you tried to, there's things that you need to do to fix yourself to be prepared for the blessing. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to end this video with this. Everything is not always what they seem to be. We can't look at our neighbors. It says in the Bible, one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor. Okay? We can't covet our neighbor. We have to focus on ourselves, think about ourselves, do what we need to do to prepare for our blessing. We need to learn how to pray. Excuse me. We need to learn how to pray. We need to learn how to trust our own self. We need to learn how to pay attention to the red flags. We need to pay attention to our gut. And we can't put all of our self into other people. We can't call on other people and depend on other people. Okay, because when I got laughed at, when I got treated that way, I got treated from this person, it hurt me to the core. Because I just really thought that was my friend. I thought that was my girl. And it hurt me. It hurt me. And sometimes in life, we get tired of being hurt. We get tired of being deceived. We get tired of people treating us a certain type of way. That's why we have to put our foot down. We have to find a way to trust our own judgment, our own self. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to look in the mirror every day and tell ourselves, I love you, Tracy. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. Look, you is kind. You is beautiful. Look. And we can look, okay, look. What the lady say? You beautiful, you kind, you wonderful. We got to keep telling ourselves that until we really believe it. That's it, y'all. That's it. I love you guys so much, and I know I got long-winded tonight. And I really pray and hope you guys watch this video till the end. I really do. Please comment, talk to me, and I will talk back. Tell me some of your experiences. Tell me what you think about this topic today. Okay? And I'm going to end this video by saying, hold your head up. Don't beat yourself up. Wait on God and do the things that you need to do to prepare yourself for the blessing. Sometimes trying to find the way out, an easy way out, and lying and cheating and stealing and doing all these things, those type of things don't last forever. What lasts forever is when you do things the right way and you have you feel so much accomplished. You feel so much better about yourself. When you know you did something authentically, when you know you really did it yourself the right way. Hold your head up. Tell yourself every single day beautiful and wonderful things about yourself. Tell yourself those things that, the things that you don't like about yourself, be the opposite. If you think you're ugly, tell yourself you're beautiful. If you think this, tell yourself that. You know what I'm saying? Until you really believe it. Okay? And I will catch you in the next video.